Good morning, my scholars. Welcome back to the channel. This morning we're going to be looking at prime numbers and composite numbers. Right? So let's look at the definition. A prime number has only two factors, itself and 1. A composite number has 3 or more factors. Right? So if you don't understand what a factor is, you can look at the video that was done specifically on factors. Watch that video to bring yourself up to speed. But generally speaking though, a factor is a number that can divide exactly into another number without leaving a remainder. So if the number is prime, it will have only 2 factors, because every number is a factor of itself. 1 is a factor of every number. So the prime numbers will only have 1 and themselves as factors. All other whole numbers with the exception of 0 and 1 are either prime or composites. So we could say prime numbers are opposite of composite numbers. We could say that and get away with it, right? The prime number has only 2 factors. The composite number has 3 or more numbers that can divide into it equally. 0 and 1 are exceptions. They are whole numbers, but they are neither prime nor composite. So what we're going to do, the instruction says list the factors of these numbers and say whether the numbers are prime or composite. So I'm going to put a list of numbers. We're going to list the factors of them. Again, if you don't know how to find the factors of a number, just go and watch the video on factors. So what we're going to do is to list all the numbers that can divide equally into each of the number that I'm going to put. And then if we find that there are only 2 numbers that can go into them, themselves and 1, we're going to put P for prime. If we find that 3 or more numbers can go into them equally, we are going to put C for composite. Alright, so let's start. So for each of these numbers, we're going to list all the factors, all the numbers that can go exactly into them without leaving a remainder. If we find that it's only themselves and 1, we're going to put P for prime. If it has other factors, then we're going to put C for composite. So what are all the numbers that can go exactly into 2? We know that 1 can go into 2, 2 can go into 2, right? So nothing else. So that means it's only 2 factors. So 2 is prime. 2 is actually the first prime number. So let's look at 3. What are the numbers that can go into 3? We know that 1 can go. We know that 3 can go. Can 2 go into 3 without leaving a remainder? No. Therefore, there are only 2 numbers that can go exactly into 3. That's 1 and 3. So 3 is also prime. Alright, let's look at 4. What are the numbers that can go into 4? What are the factors of 4? We know that 1 can go. Whenever we're asked to list the factors of a number, we always start with 1. Because 1 is the universal factor. 1 can go into every number. So 1 can go, 2 can go, and 4 can go. So 4 has passed the number of places, the number of factors that would qualify it to be prime. For it to be prime, only 2 factors it is allowed to have, and already we see that 4 has 3 factors. Therefore, the number 4 is composite. It's a composite number. How about number 5? We know that 1 can go into 5. What else can go exactly into 5? 2 can't go into 5 without a remainder. 3 can't go without a remainder. 4 can't go without a remainder. We know that 5 can go into itself. Every number is a factor of itself. Every number can divide exactly into itself. So 5 also has only 2 factors. So 5 is prime. 5 is a prime number. So already we see the first set of numbers, because remember 0 and 1 are special. They are special, so they want us to put them to this side, right? They are not in this game that we're playing here. So apart from the 0 and the 1, we're seeing that most of the first set of numbers, most of them are prime. The 2 is prime, the 3 is prime, the 5 is prime. Alright, so let's look at 6. We know 1 can go into 6. 2 can go into 6. 3 can go into 6. 6 can go into itself. So 6 has passed the number of factors that would qualify it to be prime. It's not prime, so we know it's definitely composite. It has 4 factors. In order to be prime, you can only have 2 factors, 1 and yourself. How about number 7? 1 can go into 7. None of these numbers can go into 7 without leaving a remainder. So it's just left with 7 itself. 7 goes into itself 1 time. So what are we seeing here? 7 is also prime. Okay. How about number 8? So 1 can go into 8. 2 can go into 8. 4 can go into 8. And 8 can go into itself. Every number can go into itself. So 8 has 1, 2, 3, 4 factors, which tells us it is composite. It is definitely composite. Alright. So let's look at the 9. 1 can go into 9, 3 can go into 9, and 9 can go into itself. So it has 3 factors, that means it is a composite number. How about number 10? 1 can go into 10, 2 can go into 10, 5 can go into 10, and 10 can go into itself. 10 is composite. How about 11? Okay, so 1 can go into 11. Is there any other number that can go into 11? Any of these can go into 11? No, they can't. These can't go without leaving a remainder. So it's just the 1 and the 11. So we know that 11 is not composite. It only has 2 factors. It is a prime number. How about number 12? 1 can go, 2 can go into 12, 3 can go, 4 can go, 6 can go into 12, 12 can go into itself. 12 is definitely not prime. 12 is definitely not prime. 12 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factors. It is definitely composite, not prime at all. Or how about number 13? 1 can go into 13. But there's no other number that can divide evenly into 13 without leaving a remainder, except for itself. So 13 is prime. We have 2 to go. So number 14, let's see. 1 can go. 2 can go. 7 can go into 14. 14 can go into itself. So already we see it cannot be prime because it has passed 2 factors. So it is composite. And for 15, 1 can go into 15. 3 can go into 15, 5 can go into 15, and 15 can go into itself. 15 has 4 factors, so we know that it is composite. Let us look at the numbers now. What do you notice about the prime numbers? Look at the prime numbers. The 2, the 3, the 5, the 7, 11, 13. Do you notice anything about them or about most of them? Do you notice that most of the prime numbers are odd numbers? Right, so we did a video on odd numbers. If you're not yet versed on how to identify odd and even numbers, you can go ahead and look at that video. We did a video on even numbers, odd numbers, right? So most prime numbers are odd, because if the number is even, it means that 2 can go exactly into it, right? If the number is even, 2 can go into it. Therefore, it means that it would have 1 can go into it, 2 can go into it, and it can go into itself. So if the number is even, we know it automatically has at least 3 factors, can have more. So, but what about number 2? 2 is even and it's prime. Well, actually, 2 is the only even number. It's the only even number that is prime. Two is the first prime number. So if you're asked to list the prime numbers, you start at 2, not 1, not 0. You start at 2. 2 is the first prime number, and it is the only prime number that's even. Because all other even numbers would automatically have at least 3 factors, because 2 can go into them, they can go into themselves, 1 can go into them, and some of them have other factors too that can go into them, right? So remember that 2 is the first prime number, and 2 is the only even number that is prime. If you look at all the other prime numbers, you see that they are odd. 3 is odd, 5 is odd, 7 is odd, 11 is odd, 13 is odd. And we have many, many more prime numbers, right? The composite numbers can be even or odd. Because you notice 4 is a composite number, it's even. 6 is even, 8 is even, 10 is even, 9 is odd. 9 is a composite number, it's odd. 12 is even, 14 is even, 15 is odd. So composite numbers can be even or they can be odd. Prime numbers are odd except for the first prime number, which is number 2. Alright, so that's it for prime and composite numbers. Just to recap, a prime number has only 2 factors, itself and 1. A composite number has 3 or more factors. 0 and 1 are neither prime nor composite. They are special numbers. So if you have been helped by this video, I would encourage you to share the video with your friends, your neighbors, your classmates, so that they can benefit and so they can sharpen their mathematical skills. We know that math is a subject that many students are weak in because they fear it. They've just heard that it's difficult. You know, everybody's telling them math is so difficult, math is so... No, we want to break down that myth. We want everybody to understand that math is a beautiful subject. It's a very relevant subject. We cannot do without it. So these videos are here to help students to break down that fear, to just dissipate it like clouds. Just be the sunshine to break away those clouds of fear and doubt that so many people have around math. Share the video as much as you can so others can benefit from it. And I would love for you to comment to say thank you, miss, if you have been helped. Also, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.